All right, guys. If you're like me, a kind of a hobbyist and love working on cars, and you got a compressor, decent compressor, you got to get yourself one of these things. Just watch this puppy. That's it. The wheel is off the ground. Look at that. Done in those seconds. Slip the old axle stand under, or jack stand as you guys call them, and you're good to go. Oh, thought I'd add this little video. Although I'm sure many of you know how to do brakes and you don't really need help. Just thought I'd put this out there for perhaps some people that don't know and they want to attempt it for the first time by themselves. This is a 2003 Toyota Highlander. I'm going to replace the front and the rear rotors and pads. And well, let's just get on with it. Once you've got the wheel off, you know, car's jacked up and on a jack stand, then something that I do, that's I can't remember where I learnt about it, and I'm sure lots of you know, using a clamp here, just rest it on the nut at the back, wind it up, that squeezes the pads in. Then when you release it, it makes life a lot simpler to get these off. And oh, that's the wrong one. I think it's a 13 on this. No, don't lie to me, it's a 14. Okay, 14 millimeter to release the caliper, and I would use my rubber hammer. I just find this so much easier than trying to be a big muscle man and do it. You just gotta give it a couple of whacks and away she goes. All right, now you will note here that I have a piece of rope. This is just to hang the caliper on. You don't want to be hanging the caliper on that pipe. I hope this is coming out okay, but well, if it's not, oh dear. Oh, I forgot my little tray. I must go and get a little tray for... there's not going to be any more nuts and bolts other than the big ones to get that off. All right. Ridiculous, isn't it? Little bolts and they struggle with them. All right. Let's just tuck this through here. And we can string it up out of the way. And I know some people like to use the bungee cords, and I've mentioned it before. I prefer this piece of string because it's infinitely adjustable. So let me just tie that off. Okay, that should be going nowhere. Now we need to undo the bolts on the inside. Let me go grab a wrench, be right back. All right, next thing, let's get these pads out of the way. It's kind of messy in here. And these pads aren't terrible, but they are getting down there. And the rotors are quite badly scored. And there's a bit of a ridge there, so it's a good idea to replace these now before it gets really bad. Now, grabbing your trusty 17 millimeter, you need to remove this caliper carrier. Okay, well, that one's done. All right, and let's get to the top. Oh yeah, that one went good. Okay, now what I do is I have a 17 millimeter ratchet one as well, because I wasn't going to spend ages just unbolting these damn things. There was no Loctite on this. Okay, so when you're Loctiting these back on, which is a good idea, use blue Loctite, not the red. The red is a little bit more difficult to get undone, and as this is a job that has to be done, you know, reasonably infrequent, I suppose is the right word, but you know, you don't want to make it worse for the next guy. I have done that in the past by mistake, I must admit. No, I don't think there was any Loctite on that. Okay, and then this comes off, and we'll be replacing these. We'll be giving this a good clean up in the parts washer before we put it back on. Now the rotor, in theory, yeah. Okay, I think that's rusted on there. Let's see. Yeah, now there are bolt holes here that you put 2 bolts in. I was hoping not to have to do that, but it appears I am, so I'll have to go and find those 2 bolts. But what I am going to do prior to that is get myself a nice piece of cardboard down here, give this a good soaking with PB Blaster, because obviously this mother don't want to come off. Alright, be back in a second, guys. Go and pour yourself another beer. Well, as can be seen, just by putting 1 bolt in, it managed to make the rotor pop off. But of course, you always need one of these jars. I'm collecting these for God knows how many years, and they always come in handy. Okay, we'll save that for the other side. And there it is. It was kind of bonded because of the rust, but she's off now. What I will do is I will give this a quick clean up with a wire brush, and then I'm going to put some copper grease on it so that the next time it comes off easy. Now, other things that have to be done is cleaning up the new rotors. Just grab yourself some brake cleaner, wipe the rotor to get off the preservative, and I do this side first because then when I flip it up it's not resting on the edge, the surface, and that's all it needs is a quick clean, and as you can see the crap comes off. Now another thing that has to be done, hang on a second, is these. Now unfortunately, AutoZone being the cheapskates that they are, they make you buy a separate kit for this, but what I'm going to try and do, if I can, and this is something you always need to do when you're redoing brakes, and it's also why it takes me longer than it takes other people, because I do it properly. Now that's pretty well greased up, so we're not going to worry about that. See, that moves nice and freely. We'll check this one as well. Yeah, they're both nicely greased up, so we don't have to worry about that. They're done, they're good. All right, and then we've got to take these little babies off here, and then I'm going to give that another good clean up. Oh God, that's messy. Look at it. All right, so I'm going to give that a clean up now, and then we've got a pack of nice new ones here. We'll get those put on and greased up. And what I do is I grease where metal meets. I must be going Russian or something. Ah, the Donald Trumps, it's the Russian stuff. What? They're everywhere. We blame them for everything. Fucking idiots. All of you people, politicians, I hate you all. However, sorry, digressed. Where metal meets metal is where I will be greasing. So when the pad goes in here into those little shiny things, this metal here will rub up against them, and also here. So I will be greasing that up. All right, let me get this cleaned up and put the rotor on. With that, I'll show you that. Why not? Okay, back in a sec. All right, my weapon of choice for cleaning this up is one of these little brushes I got from Harbor Freight. That's all I needed to do. Now let's get the copper grease on there, and then we can put the new rotor on. Okay, grease is now on. Grab one's new rotor, slip it on. What I like to do is I like to hold it on, whoops, with one of these nuts. Just pinch it up. Okay, that way I can put this caliper holder on without having to struggle fighting this. And then once that's done and I got all the brake pads in, then prior to putting the wheel on, I will actually grease the inside of all of the lug nuts. Again, I'll be doing that with copper grease. Copper, as you know, is a natural lubricant, and so is grease. Just ask your wife. And then that will be this side done. I will show you. 1 second. Well, typical fucking AutoZone quality. God, those people are useless. You need 8. I got 7. What a fucking joke. Well, there's no point in asking them for one. They won't do it because I know what a bunch of idiots they are. I despair at that company. I really do. They're pathetic. I will have to put one of the old ones back in, which I hate having to do. But I'm not going to go running around just trying to get one little metal clip. It won't make a great deal of difference, but it would have been nice to have had what the customer paid for. AutoZone, you suck. Right. Not sure what kind of view you're going to get with me doing it this way, but I have it on my head, the camera that is. Right, grab one's bolt for the caliper carrier. Caliper carrier. Note, blue. It was a little more than I wanted, and it was in the place I didn't want it. No, never mind. It won't do no harm. Oh, get this little baby back here. Slip the bolt into the hole. Line it all up, doing it all blind, which is always fun. There we go. Just get that started. Same with this one, a little bit of the blue stuff. You don't need a lot, just enough to keep things from undoing. Oh, look at that, perfect. Done up. You didn't think it'd take that long, would you? But it does. All right. Same here. Oh, let's get the right angle there. Okay, and whilst I do pinch them up with my strength, I do like to give them the little shock with the old rubber hammer, just to get them pinched up nicely. Now yes, you can use a torque wrench on this, but I've always found this very satisfactory doing it this way, and I do use a torque wrench on the lug nuts though. Not always the easiest of things to do, and that's why. Oops, in the right angle of the dangle. There we go. That's good and tight. Right, now grabbing one's trusty brake pad and one's copper grease, As I said, it's going to go on the ends where metal touches metal. So we'll put a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. Don't go crazy. Don't go crazy. And then on the back here, and that is where the caliper will rub up against it. Now it may get a little bit there, and there, just a little bit. All right. And then one, oops, and gets one's pad and one shoves it in. Not the easiest of things to get in, but we get there. Okay, that's that one. Now let's do the other one. Same principle, little dibby dabs, not go crazy. And on here, and a couple of grease here into here. Whoopsie. A little bit there and a little bit there. All right. Never as easy as it, eh? Especially this one, because you're kind of doing it blind. Okay, good. Now we will see whether I'd squeeze the caliper back far enough. And if I haven't, then I will have to go and get me squeezers. Squeezer, you know you are a squeezer. And the answer is no, I haven't. So let's just rest that there and take this rope off while I'm at it. And go and get my squeezers. Keep that ready for the wheel nuts. Okay, back in this. Okay, and these are my squeezers. Just gently squeeze that piston till it goes right back. And just as a note for you, I'd already checked the fluid level on the reservoir so that when I push the pistons back in, you don't get brake fluid pissing everywhere. Now this should fit over there, which it does. Move in the little pistony things, grab the bolts. Do note, these need to go a certain way. There's that nice little curvy bit, oops, that it fits into. Then, oh, you can get your bolt in. It's always a fiddly thing, but once you get it, you're fine. Okay, and the same down here, making sure we're in the right position. And you get that lovely little sound, ding, as it goes in. Hey, I'm easily amused. Right. Pinch these back up. Oops, wrong one. Okay, it may just need to be pinched up. Got to do it with your fingers, it won't do, but it spins with the wrench. Right, we are done there. Now that can be taken off. And as I said, what I do is I'll get me old copper grease here, and I'll just put a little bit in each nut. Just helps preventing from seizing. Okay, there we go. They are all now ready. So let's put the wheel back on time. And then once I've got it on the ground, I'll torque up the nuts and do the other side. That's it, folks. Hope you found that of interest. That's the front. We'll do the back as well, but it'll probably be pretty similar, but just in case it's not, we'll do that and put it after this particular video. All right, there you go. Oops.